We take referrals from a number of places, iGen being one, Sensat team, a lot of word of mouth stuff from parents and carers, some people from the Silks. Think of anything else?
Job centre, I've had a few from the job centre.
Oh, we have, yeah.
So, I mean, with all that in mind, it's really important that we build up that relationship and trust with those stakeholders as well. So, yeah, we get the young people comfortable, but we've also got to make sure the referral places are comfortable with us as well.
So it probably really begins before that, because it has begun historically with us making links. We've all of us have been working towards creating something like this for quite a long time. So we've already had those, we get the referrals, we're always inviting our partner organisations in to have a look round, have a look at the premises, hear, meet the staff here, what we're doing, and just have a look at the general place, examples of students' work. Once a referral's been received, then we will invite the student and their significant others, parents usually, to come in and do the same.
But then with that referral, we'll look at the individual. It's not a question of trying to get that individual to fit into our programme. It's more about looking at that individual, what they'll need. If that individual needs 1 day a week for a bit, that's what that individual will have. If they need to just come into lessons and slowly integrate into lessons, that's what they will have. So it's looking at the individual firstly and primarily, and then building it up from there.
Yes, importantly, we don't have any entry requirements. Obviously, it's a matter of, it's not just professional pride, it's the whole purpose of this organisation is that people progress and people do better than they've done before. But one of the things that I find quite incomprehensible is that a lot of educational places will test people to find out if they're at level 3, entry level 3, in order for them to access an entry level 3 course. So in fact, they have to already be capable of doing entry level 3 before they're allowed on to the entry level 3 course. So obviously they've made no progress whatsoever. We don't do that. We do initial assessment with people. We use various different methods of doing that. And we generally use the simplest written test that we can and the least invasive. And then we use an awful lot of our own nous as well, really, to assess where they're at so that we know what we ought to be teaching them. Our young people are always very keen to say hello and introduce themselves and also welcome the new people. That's the thing that's very heartwarming actually, because I think they do recognise themselves and I think they do a kind of payback for when they visited, and that's nice to see.
Okay, so this is Sue Barraclough. Hi Sue.
Hi.
And you've been working one-to-one with a young person.
Yes.
Can you just tell me a little bit about that and how you got her into the study programme?
Yes. She was in age equivalent in her final year of secondary school, and at the point where I became involved, she needed somebody to do some home tuition, and so I agreed to do some home tuition. But really what she needed was to get out of the home because she'd become really an isolate within her home. When we found this provision, we felt that merely the fact that it would accommodate her as an individual for a limited amount of time made it a possibility, no more than that. When I came and visited here, I felt for the first time that I was having conversations with teachers around the needs of an individual rather than the needs of a group, and a timetable for a group and a curriculum for a group. And I knew that as a very bright girl with quite extreme individual needs, the mere fact of it being a group meant that she really couldn't access anything in a room with other students at that stage. And she still can't, but she's moved on to the point where now she is aware that she is administratively part of a group and has seen that group and mingled a little with the other students. All of that because the teachers here have such a positive ethos. And when the girl has kicked off and screamed and kicked and completely carried on, which was in the early stages as a reaction to the stress of being in the building and around other people, they made it possible for her to come back in after that, which was very difficult for her to do. And that has relaxed her a lot. And we've turned a corner in a way because the stress and tension now seems to come out more in joyful things. So after she's made what is sometimes a really big effort to get herself here in the building and meeting her tutor, it actually lifts her mood for a couple of days afterwards. She at the moment is very buoyant after she's been here. Her personal care has improved. We keep having little new steps forward and new milestones. Last week, for the first time, nobody had to go upstairs to fetch her down from her room. She actually came down on her own, of her own volition. So she's now, I feel, driven by not just a willingness to come out, come here and meet with other people and start, joining the bigger world. I think she really wants to do it. She knows that she enjoys that. She enjoys the audience, having somebody else to talk to. She becomes animated, wants to talk. She sings. She's a beautiful singer. And where on the first couple of occasions when we came here, she reacted in quite aggressive and negative ways, she now lets her teacher know that she's happy to be here by singing to her. It's a kind of real outlet. It's her way of communicating, really. So I might have difficulty in getting her from the car to the building because it's cold and because she's not used to being outside. But once she's in the building, it's now a joyful experience.
I work for Aspire iGen. I have worked on pre-16 targeted support team. We look at the post-16 options for these young people. Several of the young people I've worked with in the past have had mental health issues around depression, anxiety, social anxiety. And obviously it's looking at what is the next option for them. In a lot of cases they can't cope with the mainstream colleges. College is far too big. And what I found with Swarthmore, the size is ideal. The class sizes are a lot smaller and integration is a lot easier for these young people. With some young people it can be very difficult. I can think of one particular case of a young person that wouldn't come out of the bedroom, hood was up, head down, no eye contact, very little conversation, and it was a gradual process in selling what is on offer here to that young person. All credit to the staff. It's such a nurturing environment. The staff assess each young person as an individual and target the teaching around that individual, which is brilliant. Every child is different. Every child comes with different needs, different support needs, and that I find is catered for here.
I suppose with our client group, we've got them confident, we've got them happy, we've got them settled. But like all programmes, everything that's good so often comes to an end, and it's making sure that good work that's happened here can continue. And for some of our young people, it's just this massive upheaval that we have to prepare them for. And it's also making sure that there is things for them to go to at the end of that. Currently, there is quite a big gap when somebody with a learning disability hits 25. There's not a lot of options out there, so it's about exploring those options that are there and doing that in good time to make sure that it's the right outcome for them, and also making sure if they want to go into work, that we do is at level best to get them into work. It's an employability programme that we help to build towards that. So we also have a Friday morning job club, which is a completely voluntary thing, which gives one-to-one supported job search.
I think both Matthew and I come from the background of working for charities that deal with people with learning difficulties and disabilities. And both of us have seen what, generally speaking, happens to people with disabilities in this country, which is they go through a lot of provision, and at some point that finishes and there's nothing. And that's what we have been trying to rectify the whole of our professional lives, and what we're still working on doing. It's not something we can completely do on our own, and part of the purpose of the study programme is to bring in partners who can help provide destinations for our young people. That's why we're working with employers. It's why we need, if you're an employer and you're watching this now, get in contact with us and play your part, because we need to create a world that's fit for all of our young people, and too many of our young people are being left out of being included in the world, and it's something we can all play our part, and we can do something about it. It's not difficult. You can do it, we can do it, and we'll help you do it. So that's one thing. The other thing is it's making sure, really, right from the beginning, that you've got some idea of where that person wants to go. Actually, that's not that difficult, because they want to go where we all want to go. They want to have a place to live that's their own. They want to have friends, a support group. They want to feel that they're making a contribution, and they want to have a source of income. And those are the things that throughout, really, we're talking to them about, and that we need to make sure all of those things are covered, and there's a plan for them all when they leave. And then finally, there's the Friday mornings that we have here, which is somewhere that's open to all of our alumni to come back, come and do job search, come and talk to us again about any ongoing problems, and we can refer them on to other agencies who might be able to help them, and we can, give them a telephone, a listening ear, a friendly helping hand.
There's a recent case where somebody had left our programme, actually, and because we had that Friday morning session, we were able to rescue it. They were at risk, they've moved on to something else, and they were really at risk of disengaging from that. So I've been able to get them back in, talk to them, support them back through it. 2 weeks later after that, my new course is absolutely brilliant. Had we not put that intervention in, it would be a completely different story for that young person.
And that's also something we'd really like to strongly advocate for all providers who are providing for vulnerable young people. Is that, think of your aftercare, basically. Your job's not done until it's done. And there's too much of, oh, well, you know, the money's not coming in, there's somebody else's problem. Well, they're not actually, because we as educators are paid to put them into society. It's leading people out of childhood into adulthood, and that job isn't finished until it's finished. And so we should all be prepared to be keeping working for that job. Otherwise, we've not done what we were paid to do. That said, just to remind you again, if you're watching and you're an employer, it's your job too.
And just to add, actually, you might have seen it in the earlier chapter or in another video clip where we were having a conversation with the learner, and I kind of quite jokingly says, well, you're going this year, bye. And it's the way of just getting that learner to accept that they're moving on, and just reinforcing that, yes, we know you're happy and comfortable here, and we will support you with it, but time's come to progress, and it is about try to take some of that fear away from it as well.
Yeah. Yes. I think we've been good at that. We are good at that. We're good at insisting that people move on, but at the same time not move on just off the end of a cliff.
Yeah.
We are with them, working with them, not doing something to them, but working with them. That means that we try and get them to come up with solutions for their own issues.
How have you benefited from coming to Swarthmore?
Well, just you see new people, and it gets you out of the house, just gets you busy. I've calmed down to have a lot of my anger since coming here, and I'm just getting more friendly now with people, because I used to be like afraid and stuff.
How long have you been at Swarthmore for?
Just in September.
Oh, okay, so you're a newbie.
Yeah.
Right. How have you benefited from being here?
It's helped my confidence just grow and grow. Like before I came here, I was really shy, timid and quiet.
Really?
You wouldn't think it now, would you?
No, you're very outgoing.
I've been given an opportunity to be myself.
Okay.
You know, in school it was always quiet once you get put right at the back. Teachers don't think you're going to do anything wrong. I was actually pretty happy with it, because it meant teachers didn't bother me.
But do you think that it was benefiting your
It wasn't benefiting
learning?
my confidence. Like there's
Yeah.
oh, you need to do this. You just shine. I'm just shine. And then look at me. You're not going to shine.
Oh, that's really disheartening, isn't it?
How is it helping your English doing these classes?
Well, I guess I'm being more creative with just... I'm not really that... I'm kind of bland at home, I really don't do much. But I guess this has given me like the creativity I need, because I guess recently I've just been... Well, not recently, but for a while I've been like just bored out of my wits and just a bit depressed. And I guess now that this is like... I've perked up like last week and this week, and I think it's because like this kind of like English work has interested me with like writing stories, and I've like changed a bit now. I changed before I came back, but I feel like I've really changed, and I feel like I've accepted myself now, like my true self.
And any other student that say, oh, the study programme, does it really work? What would you say?
Yeah, it's really helpful. It's helped me a lot, especially my English and maths. That one brilliant, because I did quite rubbish until now. I think my English and maths has improved by a lot, since at the moment I'm doing functional skills level 2, so hopefully I'd like to pass that. I think if anybody wants to join this course, they should do well. It's a really good opportunity to do it. So.